What's going on, baseball fans? How are you doing? Welcome to the World Series preview. We got the Braves. We got the Astros. Let's get to it. And what is going on, baseball fans? How are we doing? Hello, 70 people in the chat. What is going on? Everyone, I spruced up the screen a little bit, added a couple of logos here. Look, I even got oh, I pointed the wrong way. Got the trophy. Look, I got the trophy right here. Hope you all are ready for the World Series tomorrow night. I'm pretty excited. I'm very excited for this World Series. I think these two teams, they're very even. I think they're as more evenly matched than you might think. They're both just playing extremely well. Both hot teams coming into this World Series. I'm just excited for it. You got a lot of good offense. Astros offense going up against some really good starting pitching with the Braves. Both bullpens have been stepping it up lately. It's gonna be a battle. I think it's gonna go a pretty good distance. I don't think we're going to see any kind of a sweep. At least I hope we don't. That'd be kind of boring. But I think we're going to see at least, in my opinion, what I think, a 6 or 7 game series. Very good chance I think it could go 7. I think this could be a very back and forth kind of a series. I'm excited for it. A lot of good matchups. Hey, both teams kind of coming in with different storylines. The Astros, hey, 3rd World Series in the last 5 years. They've had their own little bit of mishaps in the last couple of years due to a certain sign stealing scandal. They're trying to, erase all of that, or at least trying to put a World Series victory in front of that and try and put that in the past. While the Braves, on the other hand, they're kind of going up against a bit of a drought here. First World Series since 1999, got swept against the New York Yankees back in 99. Had a great team that year. And the Braves since then, they've had a lot of good teams, a lot of division titles, just not really ever able to get it done. Talented teams that really could have made some kind of a run in the postseason. If they had made it to a World Series, you could have seen maybe a Braves team win one. But unfortunately, they just haven't been able to get deep. So the Braves, they got a lot of stuff they're fighting against. And same with the Astros. You got storylines all over the place. Even thinking about the All-Star game with the Braves this year, had their All-Star game taken away. You could see this as a bit of a little bit of revenge from the Braves to Major League Baseball. Like, hey, you took our All-Star game away. All right, fine. Well, we'll go to the World Series instead. Kind of like that, honestly. And, yeah, you know what? And give a lot of respect to the Astros. They've had a lot of hate just tossed over their way, which well-deserved. But you know what? They've really shown, I think, everyone how good of a team they actually are. It really goes to show they didn't really need any of that stuff. I mean, made it to the game 7 of the ALCS last year, back in the World Series this year. Both really good teams, a lot of good storylines here. We're going to break it all down tonight. I'm seeing around 66. I just saw 70 a second ago, but hopefully we can get over, maybe 100 people tonight. That would be nice. But before I do get started, everyone, if you are new, hit that subscribe button for me. We are trying to get to 15,000 subscribers. We are so close, actually, to 14.7K. We're about 30 subscribers away from 14.7. It's going to be a stretch. If we can get to 15,000 by the end of the World Series, that would be amazing. That's been the goal. We're so close. So everyone, anyone new, hit that subscribe button. Everyone, to get people and new people in here, hit that like button for me. I know all the YouTubers like to say it, but really it does help with the algorithm. Hit the bell button. You got to get notified of all these World Series live streams that I'll be doing. I'll be going live for pretty much every single game except for game 2. I'll talk about that here in a second. Also, if you can, share the stream tonight and make sure you share all of our World Series streams, however long it may go. Also, everyone, we have memberships on the channel. If you go to my homepage, you will see a join button for just 99 cents a month. You get badges and emojis. As you can see, we have a few members in the chat already. You get Q&As for future live shows. You get access to a private Discord and a subreddit that I will be making in the near future. And also, everyone, we have a partnership with Dr. Squatch. You get 10% off your first order with Dr. Squatch. Their soaps are absolutely wonderful. And no, that's not just me saying that to have you try and click the link. I've been using Dr. Squatch now for over a year. I will only promote a product that I actually use and that I actually like. So check out the link. They got a lot of cool soaps, good scents. They got shampoo. They even got toothpaste. So go check them out. Alrighty, everyone. So we're going to break it down. But like I said, I will be going live for all the World Series games. I'll be doing watch-alongs for every game except for Game 2. I had a prior engagement for tomorrow. Or not tomorrow, for Game 2. So I won't be able to make it for the game. But I should be able to make it for the end of the game at least. And I'll be doing a post-game. So every game except for Game 2, I will be doing a watch party. So make sure to come out for that. But let's get started with this, everyone. Let's go. We got no time to lose. Let's get started. I got the music ready. Here we go. So, I mean, where should we start? I mean, let's just kind of, start, I guess, for Game 1. Let's just take a look at the matchup here. We're doing a lot of breakdowns here, but let's just take a look at the Game 1 matchup. We got Charlie Morton going Game 1. We got Framber Valdez going against him for the Braves. I mean, you got Charlie Morton. This is the guy you brought in last offseason. Big game Charlie. This is kind of what I think they were missing in the postseason last year. And obviously, he has provided a huge boost for the Braves this year. And Framber Valdez, very solid. Had a bit of a bumpy postseason up until his last start against the Red Sox when 8 innings, he looked dominant. And hey, as a Red Sox fan, I will still proudly wear my jersey. I didn't expect the Red Sox to make it this far this year, so I will proudly wear my jersey. Even despite a loss. But Valdez, he just looked dominant against the Red Sox. So whatever troubles he was having, going into, that start, those are all gone. So I'm really excited for this matchup. Charlie Morton, Framber Valdez should be a very solid matchup. So let's kind of take a look here. MLB.com, they did their position by position breakdown. So for me, I'm going to kind of take a look at the stats. We'll compare those here in a second, but let's just take a quick look at this. Let's get a bit of a warm up here. Let's see what the writers at Major League Baseball are saying. For catcher, they're giving the edge to the Astros. Martin Maldonado against Travis d'Arnaud. Both haven't really been doing anything with the bat, but where I think they're giving the edge for Martin Maldonado is with just how he's been able to run or conduct the pitching, how he's been in the field. He had a huge throw-out, strike him out, throw him out against the Red Sox that I think took all the air out of the Red Sox there in Game 6. I mean, Martin Maldonado, he's not going to do much with the bat, but he really does a lot for this pitching staff. He just runs the game very well. And no disrespect to Travis d'Arnaud, but I just think Maldonado, I think you're going to get a little bit more where, not with the bat really ball that much, but with the defense, with the pitch calling. Hey, the Astros starting pitching, give him a lot of credit because, I mean, it was looking like a disaster after Game 3. They had the Astros had given up just a ton of runs in Games 2 and 3. And hey, they basically, it felt like they had no starting pitching left. It was like, how the heck are they even going to get through this series? And they somehow did it. I think Maldonado deserves a lot of that credit. First base. Pretty good matchup here. Yuli Gurriel, Freddie Freeman. Freddie Freeman, I think you got to give Freddie Freeman the edge. Yuli Gurriel's had a great season, but I mean, hey, it's MVP Freeman. This guy's been just on a tear this year. Taking a look at his numbers for the year, he's just been phenomenal. Hit 300 this year, 31 homers, 83 RBIs, a 393 on base, 896 OPS. Freddie Freeman, he's just been fantastic. Whoops, that's not the right one. But Yuli Gurriel, also an amazing season for him. This guy's been just a great hitter this year. Hit 319, 15 homers, 81 RBIs, another good on base. So, I mean, these two, they're pretty even when you look at the numbers. But, I mean, hey, Freddie Freeman, he's got more of that track record. So, I'm going to agree with MLB.com there, giving the edge to Freddie Freeman. Taking a look at second base. I mean, hey, you got Jose Altuve, you got Ozzie Albies. Both hitting for some power this year. Jose Altuve having a good postseason, hitting some home runs, coming up clutch. With an Ozzie Albies hit 259 this year, 30 home runs, 106 RBIs. Not a great on base. Really helped out with driving in some runs. Tom Amiano, I'm seeing a super chat. Not sure if that popped up or not. I apologize if that didn't pop up. But he says, hell of a run for our Sox. Let's go Atlanta. Oh, there it is right there. I'm sorry. Tom Amiano, thank you so much for that. I really do appreciate that, my friend. But yeah, if anyone does have a comment or anything or question, super chats are available. I'll try my best to look at the chat. But if you want to make sure you get your question or comment on here, super chats are there. It's, as you just saw, they're going to pop up on the screen. So, Ozzie Albies, and then taking a look at Jose Altuve, also hitting for some power this year. Ozzie Albies had 30 home runs, Altuve 31 home runs. But where the difference is, Altuve just gets on base a little bit better. You could say Albies probably has a bit of an edge when it comes to the fielding. But overall, when it comes to the postseason, Jose Altuve has just been so clutch. And this year as well. So I agree. Give the edge to Jose Altuve. Interesting matchup here. Carlos Correa, Dansby Swanson, both former #1 picks. And hey, Carlos Correa, what a season he's having. You got to give the edge to Correa. Dansby Swanson, good season as well. But Correa, this guy, he's playing like he's about to try and get, $400 million. So Carlos Correa, he's been amazing, both on offense and defense. Third base, Alex Bregman, Austin Riley. This is a very interesting matchup because, hey, Alex Bregman, just a couple of years ago, this guy had a monster season. Finished second in the MVP voting. But Austin Riley this year has just been on another level. Alex Bregman has had a respectable season overall. Where if you take a look at his numbers, 270, 12 home runs, 55 RBIs, 355 on base. He's dealt with some injuries this year. But you know what? With an Austin Riley, this guy has just really taken his game to just some kind of level here. Hit 303, 33 homers, 107 RBIs, 367 on base, and 898 OPS total. I mean, this guy's going to get some MVP votes. This guy really picked up the slack, especially after Ronald Acuna Jr. went down. So Austin Riley, only 24 years old. I mean, this guy's got a heck of a bright future. But I agree. I'm going to give the edge to an Austin Riley. Alex Bregman, he's very solid. But overall, I'm going to give it to Riley here. I agree with that. Taking a look at left field, I mean, come on. Eddie Rosario right now. As much as I like Michael Brantley getting on base like he does, he's one of the toughest hitters in baseball to strike out. But, oh my God, Eddie Rosario is out of his mind. Just won the MVP in the NLCS. I mean, this guy is just out of his mind. Are you kidding me right now? Eddie Rosario. My goodness, almost hit for the cycle. So, as of right now, I mean, sure, Michael Brantley, track record-wise, would get the edge. But I think right now, coming into this series, Eddie Rosario, you got to give him a slight edge there. But, hey, look out for Michael Brantley. I think he could be a bit of a pesky guy in this World Series. Look for Michael Brantley to try and do some damage. So, with center field, I mean, not really too much going on here. You got Chas McCormick. You got Adam Duvall. Chas McCormick, he's actually been stepping it up a little bit. Dustin Wood with a $4.99 super chat. I respect Dusty Baker, but I feel like TV outlets are pushing the narrative of him finally winning one is because no one would cheer for the Astros. Good. Hey, good. Good thing for the Astros that they have someone like Dusty Baker. A part of me does. No, not even a part of me. I do want to see Dusty Baker win one. This guy has come so close on so many different teams. I hope he wins one before all is said and done. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I love me some Dusty Baker, man. This guy, he's just such a calming influence for these players. And really, what a job that he's done. What a job. Coming in with this Astros team under so much scrutiny, had all the hate in the world, and this guy has come in and he's just kept them laser focused. I love what Dusty Baker has done for this Astros team. But Dustin Wood, thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat. Really appreciate that. But as of here, Chas McCormick, he's been having an all right postseason, Adam Duvall, with him, you know what to expect with an Adam Duvall. You're going to get power. But Chas McCormick, I mean, he's been okay in this postseason, hitting .316 over 19 at-bats. Hey, he's been pretty solid at the bottom of the order for the Astros. He has not been an easy out. Adam Duvall, not really too much of a postseason where, I mean, only a home run so far. Actually, was I looking at the right numbers? Yeah, I was looking at the right numbers for him. But yeah, 229 this offseason, not really doing all that much. But you know, with an Adam Duvall, that power, it's going to be there. It's going to be there, or at least there's a chance for it to be there. 38 home runs this year. Only hit 228, 281 on base. But, you know, one swing of the bat with an Adam Duvall could change the game. So, overall, I would say right now, I guess I would call it a tie. I guess. I mean, I don't know. Adam Duvall is definitely a power threat, but I like what Chas McCormick's been doing at the bottom of the order. So, and with a Chas McCormick, great defense. So, I mean, I'll be honest. Maybe I might be leaning Chas McCormick here. But then I just think of that power threat that Adam Duvall is. So I wouldn't give the edge to the Braves. I'll just call it a tie. I'll say that. Right field. Hey, we got to love what Jock Peterson has been doing for the Atlanta Braves this postseason. It is Jocktober. He's been fantastic. But when it comes to right field, Jock Peterson, Kyle Tucker's just been the complete player this year. He's been fantastic. I mean, Kyle Tucker, I've said this a million times. I don't know how many times I'm gonna have to say it until I'm blue in the face. But Kyle Tucker this year, one of the most underrated players in baseball this year. Are you kidding me? Hit 294, 30 home runs, 92 RBIs. I haven't heard one thing about Kyle Tucker this year on any mainstream media outlet. I haven't heard one thing. I mean, this guy's been phenomenal. And he's been batting, like, what, 6th, 7th in that lineup consistently throughout the year. He's been probably one of their best hitters, if arguably their best hitter. Kyle Tucker, I do love me some Jock Peterson. He can come up big with some home runs at times. But Kyle Tucker, just an all-around, just really good player. I'll give the edge to the Astros there. And designated hitter, last but not least for the offense, Astros. I mean, Yordan Alvarez just won the MVP in the ALCS. You're probably looking at a Jorge Soler for the Braves. I'm not sure. Maybe they kind of go platoon if the Astros have a lefty like a Framber Valdez, or righty. I don't know if they go, maybe they go platoon there. We'll have to wait and see. But I could definitely see Jorge Soler getting some at-bats here. But you got to give the edge to Yordan Alvarez. I would think that's going to be, that's pretty obvious there. Oh, we got a 99-cent super chat. Andrew A., thank you for the 99 cents, my friend. If you got a question or a comment, leave it in the comments here, and I'll try and pick it up for you. Thank you for the 99 cents. Really appreciate that. All right, let's move on to the pitching. Well, you know what? Here, let's do this. Now that I've gone over the offense, the position by position, I'm going to show you some numbers really quick. So let me show you some postseason numbers. Let's just get a kind of an idea of where these offenses are at. Right now, Atlanta, their offense in this postseason, they've been hitting .250. They have a .319 on base, a .407 slugging. They've been averaging around 4 runs per game. Atlanta's offense, they've come up with some timely hits. You got to remember with Atlanta, they went up against some really good pitching in this postseason. I think that's a big key. They went up against great pitching with the Brewers. And with that Brewers lineup, I was not scared of that Brewers lineup. But hey, Corbin Burns, Brandon Woodruff, Freddie Peralta. I mean, these guys are fantastic. And then with the Dodgers, I mean, Max Scherzer, he didn't look like he was himself. But at the end of the day, it's Max Scherzer. You got Julio Urias there. You had Walker Buehler. I mean, they've went up against some good pitching, and they have found a way to get it done against this good pitching. Whereas with the Astros offense, I would probably think right now with the Astros offense, they probably have a bit of a slight edge because just look at these numbers. Hitting .281 this postseason, on base of .353, slugging of .443, averaging 6.7 runs per game. I mean, sure, you could say the Braves have gone up against better pitching overall. And the Astros, they've gone up against some good pitching as well. I mean, to be fair, Lance Lynn, they rocked him in game 1. Dylan Cease over there. Carlos Rodon, he wasn't able to, really be himself. But for the Astros, I mean, they did go up against some good names when it came to the White Sox. And then with the Red Sox, you had guys like Chris Sale, Eduardo Rodriguez, For the Astros, they just really found a way to get this done. They kind of got more to the Red Sox bullpen in the end there. That Red Sox bullpen, they just ran out of gas in the end. And this Astros offense was just too good. So it's very interesting how we have these two matchups because, again, the Astros offense is just so deep top to bottom. But then when you look at the Braves, they have just gone up against some great pitching, and not just starting pitching as well. They've gone up against some pretty good arms out of those bullpens, especially against the Dodgers. I mean, they had some pretty decent arms out of that bullpen, and they were able to get to them. So overall, both offenses are very good. I would actually say it's a lot more even than you might think. The numbers definitely look better for Houston, but I think with the Braves, they got a good lineup too. I mean, when you got guys like Austin Riley, Freddie Freeman, Ozzie Albies, Eddie Rosario's been red hot. This Braves offense has been phenomenal. And again, they're doing it against really good pitching. So I'd say this is pretty even when it comes to the offenses. Let's take a look here at the pitching. We're talking about pitching here. This has been just a complete tale, two different stories going on here when it comes to the pitching. So let's take a look here. And there's actually a few things that I'm going to look at. So let me actually pull up the... here we go. Let me go to roster resource. Let me pull up the Astros, and let's pull up the Braves. So with the Astros, let's talk about the Braves first. I love that Braves starting pitching. So right now with the Braves, you're looking at Charlie Morton, Max Fried, Ian Anderson. That's probably what games 1, 2, and 3 are going to look like. Game 4, could you go with Drew Smiley, something like that? Could you maybe do the opener again with someone like a Jesse Chavez, or you're probably not going to touch someone like a Minter or Matzek. You're going to leave those guys for the end of the game. But for an opener, I could see, someone like a Drew Smiley, maybe Jesse Chavez. Probably more likely Smiley getting an opening nod. I could see that. Whereas for the Houston Astros, I mean, this has been just a very interesting pitching staff. That was some of the most up and down starting pitching I've ever seen. You saw Framber Valdez and Luis Garcia and Jose Urquidy just get rocked in games 1, 2, and 3. Framber Valdez not really rocked so much. Luis Garcia ended up coming out after an inning, but he ended up giving up a grand slam. But Framber Valdez came back, in game 5 and just absolutely dominated. And Luis Garcia, we didn't know what the heck was going on with this guy, and he looked phenomenal in game 6. And Jose Urquidy, he had a bad game 3. We never saw him again. Zach Greinke was just completely ineffective. So right now you're probably looking at Framber Valdez for game 1, Luis Garcia game 2, Jose Urquidy game 3. You could see some kind of a combination, probably Jake Odorizzi for a game 4. I don't know, unless you maybe open with a Greinke. I would imagine probably Odorizzi would get a game 4 start. That seems to make a lot of sense to me. So that's probably where I'm thinking. Again, it's two different stories going on here. Oh, Dustin Wood with another super chat. Dodgers talked about all their injuries. That's another thing as well. That's one more thing to add about the Braves. They really took advantage of the Dodgers just having a lot of injuries. No Kershaw. Just a lot going on. Imagine if they did have a Trevor Bauer. Imagine, if they did have Dustin May. What would we be seeing right now? Would we be seeing, Astros, Dodgers? Who knows? But Dodgers talked about all of their injuries, but not much to talk about. Soroka, Acuna, and Ozuna. Amazing. Yeah, absolutely. And that's another thing, too. Imagine if the Braves had a Soroka. Imagine if they had Acuna, man. And Marcell Ozuna. He's a pretty forgotten man at this point. But that's what makes this World Series so intriguing to me, is that both of these teams have been able to figure it out. They've been able to just get by against good teams, too. It's not like they've been playing bad teams. I mean, you could argue that the Brewers lineup was just not that good, but they had good pitching, good starting pitching. But yeah, I really like this World Series for a lot of reasons, but that's one reason as well, is both teams have guys that have not been able to step up or, even participate. So gotta love it. You gotta love what both teams are doing right now. So Dustin Wood, thank you, $4.99 super chat. Really appreciate that. So yeah, you got two different kinds of starting pitching going on here, and let me just show you some numbers. Let me show you some numbers here. So for Atlanta right now, Atlanta starting pitching has been really solid. An ERA of 3.26, FIP of 3.98, strikeout, and this is in the postseason, by the way. Ks per 9, around 10 Ks per 9, 3 walks per 9, just around a home run per 9. Really solid starting pitching overall from the Braves. And as for Houston, these numbers, I mean, sure, Framber Valdez and Luis Garcia did look better in their second starts in that series, but overall, these numbers just look so bad for Houston. A 13.5 ERA, almost an 8 FIP, 8 Ks per 9. I mean, that's not great in today's game. Walks per 9, around 7 home runs per 9, 1.5. I mean, sure, Valdez and Garcia look good in games 5 and 6, but what the heck are you going to get out of Urquidy? What the heck are you going to get out of Greinke? I have no idea. I mean, Odorizzi as well. I mean, these numbers are just awful. Sure, Valdez, Garcia look good. You can at least count on them to give you a very good chance of getting you a win. But what is going to happen in those other games? Are they going to be able to figure it out? If you pay attention to that Red Sox bullpen, they really started to just thin. They really started to wear out. They just had a lack of options. While the Braves, their bullpen has just really looked solid. These guys have really stepped up. So, when it comes to the starting pitching for the Astros, it's a little, it's a question mark still. I mean, sure, Valdez and Garcia look great, but what are you going to get out of Urquidy and Greinke and Odorizzi? Now, let's take a look here at some stats. So I want to kind of go through each of these starters. So one thing I pulled up here was, where is it right here? So on Fangraphs, I pulled up pitch value. So this is basically how well they do against these kinds of pitches. So how well these offenses do against fastballs, where they rank, sliders, cutters, curveballs. So, for instance, the Astros. Taking a look at the Astros, when it comes to, let's take a look at Charlie Morton first. Charlie Morton, he's been very good. These expected numbers are all looking quite wonderful. Dustin Wood is going crazy with the Super Chats tonight. Dustin Wood, $1.99. Will the Astros having to bat pitchers be big? It could be. It could be. It definitely could come into play, where the one thing the Astros have going for them is they do have the home field advantage. So, and if it comes to a Game 7, they won't have to worry so much about that. So, hey, I mean, that's one thing, but that could be something. We'll have to wait and see, what's going to happen with a Yordan Alvarez. That's a big bat. So, have to wait and see there. But, taking a look at Charlie Morton. So, Charlie Morton, if we take a look at his pitches, right? This guy actually, sure, the fastball's been good this year, but he's had a good sinker this year. He's had a good changeup this year. He's had a very good curveball this year. So if you take a look at the Astros, here, when it comes to, here we go. Let's take a look. What is Morton's best pitch movement-wise? So you're looking at probably his curveball. Has a lot of horizontal break. So let's go over here. Let's go take a look at curveballs. Houston this year ranked 10th against curveballs. So, Toronto, I mean, these guys just mashed. Imagine if Toronto made this postseason. Good grief. Could you imagine if Toronto got in? But Houston, they do okay against curveballs. Whereas if you take a look at someone like Framber Valdez, that's not Framber Valdez. That's Ian Anderson. Here's Framber Valdez. Oh, Tom Amiano with a $2 Super Chat. Braves win. Are you going to get a pear necklace? Did you mean to say pearl or pear? What's a pear necklace? Is that a thing? I don't know what a pear necklace is, but I mean, I don't know if I'm going to get any. Listen, I've had this gold necklace now. Actually, one thing about me, I don't know if you ever noticed, guys, if I wear this gold necklace here. I've had this since I was 15 years old, and this little pendant, it's a Red Sox logo. I've had this thing since I was 15, so over 15 years now I've had this, so. Pearl necklace. I was like, what the heck is a pear necklace? Pearl necklace. I mean, hey, if the Braves win, maybe. If anyone gets me a pearl necklace, I'll wear it. So, here we go. Where were we here? So, Framber Valdez, his best pitch this year has been the curveball. It's been very good. Very good curveball this year. Very good. Sinker as well. Very good. Changeup, very good. Doesn't really do very well when it comes to his fastball. So, but then when we take a look at the run values, actually, that was one thing I forgot to mention with Morton. His curveball has what is one of the best curveballs in the game. Has a negative 21 run value. Very good. Very good. So, while Framber Valdez, on the other hand, his best pitch when it comes to run value is also his curveball. And the sinker is very good as well. So when it comes to looking at how well these teams do against these pitches. So, hey, when it comes to Houston, they rank 10th. But Atlanta, they do better at hitting curveballs. So will that come into play? Are they going to match up well against someone like a Framber Valdez? So that definitely could come into play. We'll have to wait and see. They don't have anything on. I don't think they have anything on sinkers. I don't know what SF. What is that? Sinking fastball? I'm not sure what SF means. What is WSF Fangraphs? Split finger. Okay, yeah. So that's never mind. So. They don't have anything on a sinker. I mean, they got slider changeups. I mean, split fast. I don't know. So, that doesn't really give me anything on that. But we do know at least Atlanta, they do well against curveballs. And actually, how well does Atlanta do against fastballs? Atlanta, they are behind Houston. Houston's better at hitting fastballs. And that was one thing. With the Astros. They really took advantage of this Astros, or the Astros took advantage of this Red Sox pitching where they just hit fastballs really well. They're just a really good hitting team. So that's one thing to keep an eye out for. You know, Valdez, he tends to go with that curveball a lot. The Astros, they do well against curveballs. So have to wait and see. Actually, well, let's just look at the splitter. I mean, it's not a sinker by any means, but let's see how well it's a similar movement. Taking a look, Atlanta didn't do very well against splitters, while Houston did a little better. But so that's one thing to pay attention to. It's how well do these hitters do against these certain pitchers. While Ian Anderson, on the other hand, let's take a look at him. His best pitch this year, according to run value, was negative 12. So will the Astros will he be able to game plan against this Astros team that do hit fastballs well? If I go back to the fastball here, hey, like I said, they were 10th. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Now, if we go back to the Game 2 starter for Houston, you're probably going to see Luis Garcia. Now, Luis Garcia, his best pitch this year has actually been the cutter. So let's see how well the Braves do against the cutter. And then he also has a slider as well. So let's take a look at those. So with the cut fastball, actually Houston is the best at hitting cut fastballs. But with Atlanta, they were 13th against cut fastballs. So not great, but not bad either. So that'll be an interesting matchup. Now, let's take a look at the slider. He tends to go with that slider a lot. And actually, if I go back to his page, how often does he throw a slider? About 12.4% of the time. He throws the cutter and the fastball way more often. But like I said, Houston, they tend to do, or not Houston, Atlanta, they tend to do okay against fastballs. So Atlanta this year, though, they were 12th against sliders. They had a negative score, so I have to wait and see, but at least it ranked 12th, I guess. And one more time, where did Atlanta rank when it came to fastballs? Again, 13th. So that'll be interesting. While Ian Anderson, hey, he throws his fastball a lot, right? And actually, let me go back to the percentage. Yeah, he throws his fastball over almost half the time. So that could be a bad matchup. That could be a really bad matchup for Ian Anderson. Astros are a good fastball hitting team. He throws a lot of fastballs. So is he going to be able to utilize something like, the changeup, the curveball? It's going to be really interesting. So, let's see here. How often does he throw the changeup? He goes to the changeup 31.4% of the time. How do the Astros do against changeups? this is a bad matchup. Ian Anderson is a bad matchup for the Astros. The Astros were second against changeups this year. William Fulgham, 499 Super Chat. With Matzek, Minter, and Smith and Fried, how well did the Astros do against left-handers? Well, we could always, Mr. Fulgham, we could go to the splits leaderboard really quick. Thank you for the 499 Super Chat. Let's see how Houston did against left-handers this year. So let's go to the team batting stats. Let's go versus left-handers. Handedness versus left-handed pitching. So that is one thing to keep in mind. A lot of good lefties with the Braves. So let's just go to the advance. They had the second best batting average against left-handed pitching. WRC plus. They were first. So, I mean, hey, could be maybe not a great matchup, lefty-righty wise. Houston does very well against left-handed pitching. So that's another thing to keep in mind. Braves got a lot of good lefties, like you mentioned. You got Matzek, you got Minter, you got Will Smith, you got Fried. Astros hit left-handed pitching extremely well. So the Braves are going to have to really game plan here. It's not going to be easy. So have to wait and see. Let's go back to these pitches here. So Game 3. So we know Ian Anderson is a bad matchup. So Charlie Morton, on the other hand, going back to Game 1. William Fulgham, once again, thank you for the 499 Super Chat. One more time. Against the curveballs, Houston was 10th. So, I don't know. Charlie Morton has one of the best curveballs in the game. And with a Charlie Morton, he goes to that curveball how much? I mean, he leads with the curveball. That's going to be interesting. That's going to be a very interesting matchup. I could see Charlie Morton really having a bit of an edge against the Astros in that matchup. He has a good one. And the Astros they're not bad against the curve, but they're not great either. I mean, they're 10th. It's respectable. So, right now, when I'm just really quick off my head, I'm looking at this matchup, Game 1. It's not going to be the only thing that dictates it, but I like the Morton matchup against the Astros. I don't like the Ian Anderson matchup against the Astros. So I could see maybe Braves take Game 1 if it comes down to the starting pitching. It's going to be more than that, obviously. But maybe the Astros respond in Game 2. They do well against the type of pitches that Ian Anderson likes to throw. Let's go to Game 3. For Game 3, most likely. That's going to be Ian Anderson in Game 3. I apologize. So Max Fried will most likely get Game 2. I apologize about that. So Max Fried, let's see what he goes to. He leads with the fastball. He mixes in his curve a lot and the slider. So Astros, they're a good fastball hitting team. And again, they hit lefties well, like we just saw. So I'm maybe not a big fan of this matchup very much. Where, with the Astros, they, again, 10th against curveballs. How did they do against sliders? They were a good slider hitting team. So I don't like the matchup very much when it comes to Max Fried and the Astros. So they hit lefties well, and they hit the type of pitches that he throws. So I don't know. I like Game 1, I think, for the Braves. I like Morton. I do like Morton. But actually, let's see. How did the Braves do against... let me actually go back to that splits leaderboard. Let's see how the Braves did against left-handed pitching this year. So, show all. Here we go. Versus left-handers. That's player stats. I want team. All right. So batting average. Atlanta. Also, you know what? Let me add a little bit of a touch here. The Astros, or I keep saying the Astros, the Braves, a bit of a different team. A different team in the second half. So let's go August 1st to now. So let's see how the Braves did against left-handed pitching in the second half. Atlanta. Where is Atlanta? Did not do very well against lefties. So that's interesting as well. So Morton, I think, is going to have to pitch a heck of a game. I think you could see a very close Game 1. Valdez, when we look at these numbers right here, Atlanta, doesn't hit left-handed pitching very well. I mean, they were able to get to Urias, so that's one thing to keep in mind. So, interesting things going on here. Interesting things. So, I don't like the matchup very much with Max Fried. I don't even like the matchup with Ian Anderson. I can be okay with maybe going with a Charlie Morton in game one if I were to give the edge, of starting pitcher-wise game one. But then I'm not a big fan of game 2 and 3 for the Braves. Not a big fan. If we look at someone like a Jose Urquidy. Jose Urquidy, on the other hand, this could be something in a game 3 start. While I don't like the Ian Anderson matchup very well, I'm not the biggest fan of a Jose Urquidy. Throws a fastball a lot. He mixes in the slider and the changeup about an equal amount. And then he throws, a couple of curveballs here and there. Let's see how the Braves did. Let's go back one more time. Let's see how the Braves did against sliders and changeups. So sliders, Atlanta, they were 12th. And then changeups, actually, they were number 1 against changeups. So I think Urquidy, he's going to have to lay off the changeup. I don't think he should be throwing that. But, so that's where, if you're looking here, he's probably going to have to utilize that curveball a little bit more. And then if we go back to here, how did Atlanta do against curveballs? I mean, they had a pretty good 13.4. They were 5th. So I don't like the matchup for Urquidy and the Braves. I'm not the biggest fan of Urquidy, honestly. He got just wrecked by the Red Sox. So that's something I think we could see a bit of a slugfest in game 2. I don't like the Ian Anderson versus Astros matchup, but I also don't like Jose Urquidy against the Braves. I don't like either starting pitching matchup there, or game 3. So we could see a bit of I think a good pitching matchup in game 1. I think game 2, I don't know. I would maybe, Luis Garcia's been hot. He's been hot. I could see Luis Garcia really, as just how he looked against the Red Sox there. I could see Garcia, leading them to a victory in game 2. And then game 3, bit of a slugfest. Pretty tough to call. Have to wait and see how that turns out. And then, I don't know. I think this series, I think we're going to have a really good idea of this series after 3 games. And I think it's really going to come down to which teams are going to make the adjustments. I think that's going to be the biggest key. Which one's going to make the adjustments? The Astros made the adjustments against the Red Sox, and the Braves, they just really stuck it to the Dodgers. They came out swinging, and they just took command. So it's going to be interesting. Dustin Wood with a $1.99 super chat. Once again, I think the Braves at home factors in. They've been great. The Braves have been a good home team, so they're going to have to win a couple at home. They're going to have to win a couple at home. They can't let the Astros do what they did against the Red Sox. They took 2 out of 3 in Fenway, in Boston. So the Braves can't let the Astros do that. They have to take advantage of their home field advantage. They have to. They can't lose 2 out of 3. They have to win 2 out of 3 at home. They got to take advantage of that. I think that is a big key. But I think really what this comes down to, I think you're seeing kind of a bit of back and forth when it comes to the starting pitching versus offensive matchups. Where I think this really could come down to which one of these hot bullpens are going to come into play. So they're both just pitching very well right now. Both bullpens, I'll pull up the numbers here in a second, both are looking very good. Both are very good right now. So with Atlanta, Will Smith, Matzik, Minter, they have been phenomenal. Luke Jackson, on the other hand, they're going to have, we saw the Astros, they can hit left-handed pitching very well. You know what? I actually want to do something here. Let's go. You know what? I'm going to do we saw that the Astros, they hit left-handed pitching pretty well. This actually, in the second half, since August 1st, they actually only ranked 13th. So keep that in mind. But let's see, how did they do against lefties late in the game? Houston actually, against lefties late in the game from the 6th inning on, Houston had the 3rd best batting average. So keep that in mind. That might be something to come into play. They hit lefties late in the game well. It's going to be interesting. And, hey, this Braves team, they rely on that left-handed pitching very heavily in the bullpen. Will Smith, Madzik, Minter, these guys came up big against the Dodgers. I don't know. Are they going to be able to do the same thing against the Astros? Are they going to be able to do the same thing? That's going to be a big key. Left-handed pitching out of the bullpen against this Astros offense. That's going to be a key for me. But let's go take a look at the Astros bullpen. On the other hand, Ryan Presley, Kendall Graveman, Ryan Stanek. I mean, Christian Javier's been good. Phil Maton's been good. I mean, they're getting guys stepping up. It's been a good bullpen for them as well. And then, Zach Greinke, Odorizzi, I'm sure Odorizzi will probably get the game 4. Maybe Greinke, but you're going to see one of those guys. They'll come out of the bullpen, I believe, a couple of times. But let's take a look at the numbers. When we take a look at the Braves, SoundFX09, I am seeing a super chat. I don't want to go to the different screen because I want your super chat to pop up. SoundFX09, just in time. If I'm honest, I think this World Series will come down to which team has the most cohesion, absolutely, and adaptability without overcompensating. Hoping for a Braves championship. Kill the narrative. There's the super chat popping up on the screen. Appreciate that. Yeah, which team? I think which teams are going to be, cohesive? Which teams are going to be able to adapt? I think that is going to be a huge key. I think who's going to make the right adjustments? I think this could be a long series. Which team will make the right adjustments mid-series? I think that's going to be key because there's a lot of different kind of, favorable matchups going on here. Who is going to have the good game plans? Astros, they hit this left-handed pitching really well. Can the Braves overcome that? That's going to be big. SoundFX09, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Let's take a look at these numbers. The Braves bullpen this postseason has been fantastic. Look at what they did against the Dodgers. It was just great. A 3.48 ERA, 3.49 FIP, 3.49 FIP, strikeouts per 9, 10.6, walks per 9, 3.47. Very solid for the Atlanta Braves. They have just been phenomenal. Whereas if we take a look at the Astros bullpen, very solid. 3.52 ERA. FIP is a little higher, so keep that in mind. A 4.33. Strikeouts per 9, 10. Walks per 9, 3.4. So both bullpens have been great. They've been really stepping up in this postseason. The Astros especially, they've actually thrown, I think, around 11 more innings than the Braves this postseason. The Astros bullpen has really had to work. And they've come up big. Dustin Wood, $1.99 super chat. Which team is hotter coming into the World Series? I think you got to say the Astros. I think you got to say the Astros because look at what they were going up against with the Red Sox. They were down 2-1 in the series, and then they won 3 straight, and they just wrecked them in the last few. I think the Astros are the hotter team right now, and they made. Again, talking about adjustments, the Astros had to make adjustments in that series. They were about to drop like flies, but they made the right moves. They made the right game plan changes, and look what happened. I would say the Astros are the hotter team as of right now. No disrespect to the Braves there. They're also playing very well. But when it comes to, when you just look at the basics, Astros are on a 3-game win streak. The Braves, they lost in Game 5, and then they won Game 6. So you could just look at it that way. But I really like what the Astros have been doing. They've really impressed me. And the Braves as well. So, what was the last thing I was going to look at? What was the last thing? So, I don't remember what I was going to look at. We looked at the numbers for the bullpens, and then I think that actually, was that it? I think that might have been it. Yeah. So I think that's going to be a big key. One more time, repeating myself on that last little fact there. The Braves bullpen, very heavy on lefties. Astros, hit lefties. I think that could be a big thing. We'll have to wait and see how that turns out. It's going to be it's going to be great. I think this is going to be a good series. I'm really excited for it. I just think there's great matchups. There's great storylines all across the board. I really am going to enjoy this World Series a lot. It's going to be, I think it's going to be good. I think it'll go at least 6. I think it's going to go at least 6. If I were to give an edge, man, it's tough. It's tough. It's really tough. This is where I'm at right now. Right now, my heart and my head are saying two different things. And maybe I have a little bias here because I've been, honestly, I've been watching all these games. But the Astros going up against my Red Sox, what I saw that they were able to just turn things around the way they did. And just the way they match up here, they kill lefties. They do. Max Fried, he's a big starter for the Braves. He's going to get the game 2 nod. And the Astros kill lefties. I think the big key, Fried is a huge key for the Braves. He's got to overcome the Astros hitting lefties. That's going to be the big thing. Will he be able to make those adjustments? I don't know. Right now, my head is telling me the Astros. It's telling me the Astros. My heart is telling me the Braves. I really like this Braves team. I love this Braves team. They're so fun to watch. They've been so good. I just wonder when it comes down to matchups and when I'm looking at someone like Framber Valdez and Luis Garcia, the way they looked in the last couple of starts, they just looked phenomenal. They looked phenomenal. The question mark I have for the Astros, though, after Valdez and Garcia, what are they going to do? That was a problem. But then again, I just go back to that series against the Red Sox. I mean, they were dead in the water. They got blown out, and they had like no starting pitching left, and they were able to figure it out against a good Red Sox offense, against just a good team. Sure, the Red Sox bullpen was pretty thin, but I mean, they figured it out and they got it done. I don't know. My head right now is saying the Astros. My heart is saying the Braves. But this Braves team, they just went up against a powerhouse team of the Dodgers. Granted, they had some injuries. But it was still a good Dodgers team. If I were to make one final prediction, I'm going Astros in 6. I think they're just on some kind of a mission right now. I think they're on a mission. They have, and rightfully so, well-deserved. They did the whole cheating thing. But right now, these guys just got something going on here. And I don't know what it is, but this Astros team, they scare the heck out of me. And they scared the heck out of me. All the Red Sox fans out there, or at least most of them, were all like, Red Sox, World Series, Red Sox in the World Series, it's over, it's done. Me, I was sitting here, I'm like, I'm not giving up on this Astros team. Absolutely not. And look what happened. This Astros team is good. I think a lot of people, if you're not a fan of either team, I think a lot of people want to lean Braves. Because the Astros, they got that negative energy. They do. But when it comes down to it, this Astros team is good. And they make adjustments. They have a good coaching staff. They just have good guys in that organization. And they just figure it out. They got a winning pedigree. I'm going to be honest. I kind of hope I'm wrong. I do. For either way, I don't really care all that much. Because, I don't root for either team, obviously. But I kind of hope I'm wrong because I really want this Braves team to win one. I do. I really do. I love Charlie Morton. I love Max Fried. I love Freddie Freeman. I mean, I love these guys. I love what the bullpen did against the Dodgers. They really stepped up. And this Braves team, they're trying to do something too. They're on they haven't won anything since 1999. I mean, they've had so many ups and downs over the years where they've won division championships and they haven't been able to do anything. I look at that home field advantage with the Astros as well. And I think Atlanta, they're going to be tough to beat at home. I think the Astros, they're going to have to really step it up against the Braves at home. I just really like this Astros offense. I really like the way they've been able to piece together the starting pitching. Dustin Wood, another $4.99 super chat. The Braves are on a mission too. No, I just said that. Haven't won it since 1995. Want to bring it back to how they were in the 90s. Yeah, so haven't been there since 99. It's been a long time. The Braves deserve to go here. They deserve to be here. They played so hard in the second half. And also, hey, it's not just about that first appearance since 1999. It's not about just the 1995 championship. It's been a long drought. But they lost their All-Star game this year. I think it's great that they're in the World Series here. I think that's fantastic. Good for them. They had their All-Star game taken away. It never should have left Atlanta. Sorry if anyone disagrees with me. I respect that. Don't think the Braves should have lost their All-Star game. I thought that was just pitiful. I thought it was disgraceful. The Braves did nothing to lose that All-Star game. I thought that was ridiculous. So many businesses lost out on money for that. That in my opinion, I did not like that. I didn't like that. And so good for the Braves to get back here, or to get here. Good for them. That's what I'm at. That's where I'm at right now. I got the Astros in 6. I kind of hope I'm wrong because I want this Braves team to win. And honestly, I've been over the whole sign stealing thing. I've been over it since, honestly, it was a little annoying at first when you're first reading about it. Well, let's be real. All teams were cheating. My Red Sox were cheating. All teams were cheating. But I've been over this Astros cheating thing for a while. I can understand why people are still salty about it. I get it. I've moved on. But the Astros, I do respect what they got going on. I do. They're trying to really silence the haters out there. They've already done a great job at it, but they want to win this one. Obviously both teams want to win this one, but man, the Astros, I don't know. Both teams, they got something to play for. They got storylines all over the place. I love this World Series. I think it's very, very, very solid. So, but it's not just what I think. It is also what you guys think as well. Take a look. I put a poll. Let's go here. So I put which team wins the World Series. As of right now, the Braves. You guys, 61% of you disagree with my pick. So we'll have to wait and see how this turns out. 61% of you think the Braves will win it. 39% think the Astros. But before I get out of here, everyone, I'm going to go over some hot takes. I decided to bring back some hot takes for the World Series. So let's kind of read a few of these. Here we go. Reese Jones, and also these hot takes, no predictions on who is going to win. I made that very clear here. Reese Jones, you got Eddie Rosario will continue his hot streak, and he will win World Series MVP. That's definitely a good one, I think. Look at Kike Hernandez. He had a really good series against the Rays. He kept hitting against the Astros. Eddie Rosario, hey, good. Hey, could he win ALCS or NLCS MVP and the World Series MVP? Has it ever happened? Have we ever had a player win a championship series MVP and a World Series MVP? Has that happened? Let me know in the comments. I don't know if that's happened before. Emo Phase, this is going to be a fantastic series. So often we get one juggernaut against another or beating up on another team. This feels like both teams are rolling, have great momentum, and are well-matched in hitting, pitching, and clutch performance. I don't think the two best teams made it, but the two hottest teams did. And that's a really important thing, I think, to point out. You could look at teams like in this postseason, the Giants, the Dodgers. Sure, the Braves beat them, but that Dodgers team really good. The White Sox, even the Rays. There are really good teams in this postseason, and I think it just came down to these teams like the Red Sox. They game planned better against the Rays in the end. They made the right moves. The Astros, they made the right moves against the White Sox. You could argue that White Sox team was better, but the Astros, they came ready to play. Ed Bagley, one of our members, the Astros bullpen will come up clutch in late game situations during the series. It's definitely possible. This Astros bullpen's been good. Waffle Man, Jorge Soler comes back from COVID, wins World Series MVP. What a great story that would be. What a great story. Kara Hightower, another one of our members. It's going to be a good series. Also one that MLB hates because you know they don't want to be in Houston or Georgia. I mean, honestly, when you really think about it, Major League Baseball, I think ratings-wise, this will do good. It's two good baseball towns, baseball cities, so, baseball states. And I think it's going to be a good series overall. I think the ratings are going to be good. I think just because the Astros are in it, you're going to see people, because of the whole sign stealing thing, they're going to gravitate towards this series. Luke Mulligan, another one of our members. If either team performs a bullpen game, the other team will score 13 runs. Both teams' strengths lays in the rotation, but can see both bullpens being blown up. I have to wait and see. Offenses are definitely both good, but both bullpens have been doing good. Now, Kaler, we can't do that one. We can't because Acuna is not going to be on the roster. He's out, my friend. He is out. What a story that would be. Could you imagine if Ron Acuna Jr. Could you imagine that? That would be a great story, but unfortunately, no. Here we go. Mickey Thomas. He's been in our chat a lot lately. Biggest hot takes I can think of heading into this series is, can Jordan and Rosario continue with their hot bats? Will Garcia come out dealing again? And will Fried be able to bounce back and deal himself? And like I said, we had that, we talked about, I feel like I've said this like 18 times already, but Astros hit lefties well, but also Fried didn't have a very effective start against the Dodgers last time out. So will he be able to get himself right? Should be a great series. I'm guessing this World Series need at least 6, probably all 7 games to settle it. Mickey Thomas, great comment. Jason, Austin Riley ends another postseason game in a walk-off fashion. Hey, he's been coming up big. Wouldn't be surprised. William Fogum, Austin Riley rakes, wins MVP. Fried kills it. Hey, you're going against the numbers here. You're going to say Fried, he overcomes those numbers, and he deals against Houston. I like it. Steve Mammon, tough to say on the momentum aspect. It goes to the team more hungry right now. Both teams are hungry. That's definitely for sure. Andrew Lee, one of our members. Peterson will mash 5 home runs. I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, I don't know if he get 5, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him hit a few. Jock Peterson, he really comes up big. Highlight glory. It will come down to Game 7 in the last 2 innings for the World Series to be decided. And hey, you know what? Both bullpens, phenomenal in this postseason. Matthew Collins, Astros pitching gets roasted as Dusty Baker takes blame for damaging young pitchers again. That's a really interesting one. Go back to the NLCS back in 2003. He had Mark Pryor, he had Kerry Wood. Remember that? Dusty Baker. Now he's got Framber Valdez and Luis Garcia. Pretty interesting. Interesting comment right there. Braves with the designated hitter destroy the Astros in Houston, and the Astros outfielders and infielders commit numerous errors. So, yeah, the Braves, they're going to have to win at least a couple in Houston. Going to have to. I think they're going to have to split in Houston. I don't see them winning 3 out of 4 in Houston. I just don't. I think the best case scenario for the Braves, I think the best case scenario is they split in Houston and they take 2 out of 3 in Atlanta. I think that's going to be the big key. They're going to have to really erase that home field advantage, and that's going to be tough. Either team gets swept. Oh, interesting. JD Sports Zone, you're thinking it's a short series either way. Lawhan, Braves will sweep. Could you imagine? Could you imagine the Braves sweep? Good grief. Jock Peterson gets moved to the bench in favor of Soler returning. I think they'll choose their matchups wisely. I think we'll see both of these guys get at bats. That's just my opinion. Ben Myers, Luis Garcia has another shutout performance. I mean, he was dealing against the Red Sox. He looked really good. Yankees win. Alrighty. Well, hey, according to my calculations, the Yankees are not in the World Series. Good comment. Tyler, hot take. Astros sweep in 4. Another sweep comment. Let's go Braves. Freddie needs to win his first championship. Hey, Freddie Freeman won an MVP last year. Can he win a championship? Yordan Alvarez, Kyle Tucker will be RBI and home rub machines. Don't know what a home rub machine is. I'm guessing he meant home run. Home run machines. Yeah, I mean, they've been great this postseason. Austin Thomas got the Braves. Braves will win. Come on, I said it in the post. No predictions. No, I don't mind if someone put like a sweep. But, all right, so you guys got Braves. Steve, 2022 free agent. Well, this is not about free agents, Steve. But I'm pretty excited to talk about free agents. Pretty excited about it. As soon as this World Series is over, we're into the offseason, baby. I'm pretty excited about it. But everyone, that's my preview for tonight. I am very, very excited for this World Series. If you are just coming in, you missed anything, go rewind. I broke down as much as I could. Probably repeated myself like 50 times. I tend to do that because of my potato brain. But hey, I hope I gave you all some decent numbers. I hope I broke some things down, kind of, told you what I'm thinking in my head here. But in the end, my prediction, and you know what? And honestly, this whole season has been unpredictable. And you all know me, I'm terrible at predictions. But this has been a pretty unpredictable postseason, and just the whole season itself. It's been a wackadoodle of a season. But so really, I mean, predictions, take them with a grain of salt. I don't know. But if I were to lean one way, I'll go Astros 6. I would love to see a Braves World Series championship. I think that would be great. That'd be amazing for the franchise, especially after losing their All-Star game. Hey, I think that'd be great. But it's going to be a fun series. Let me know in the comments. What do you got? Who do you got winning? Tell me what you're thinking. What hitters do you think will do well? What pitchers? What are some matchup, things that you're seeing? What are some key factors that you're seeing? Let me know in the comments. Before I do get out of here, again, if anyone's new, hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 15,000 subscribers. We're so close. We're so close. Everyone, on your way out, hit that like button for me. Everyone, hit the bell button. Share this with anyone you can. Let's get this preview out there for everyone. Also, one more time, we have memberships. We're almost up to 50 members on the channel. That is a pretty cool milestone. I believe we're at 44 as of right now, so that'd be really cool to hit the 50 mark for the memberships. If you do want to become a member, it's only 99 cents a month. You get access to a private Discord and a subreddit I'll be making soon, Q&A for live shows in the future, and badges and emojis for the live streams and comments. And also, one more time, we have a partnership with Dr. Squatch Soap. I'm telling you, they make wonderful soap. I use it. I've been using it for a year. I think it's amazing. 10% off your first order in the description below. Everyone, that is all I have. Again, I hope I provided some kind of insight for you. Or, hey, if you just came out to just take a listen, thank you for coming out tonight. But everyone, have yourself a good night. I will be live. Game 1 tomorrow. And actually, really quick, let me make sure. 8:09 Eastern Time. I'll be here. I'll be live. I'll be sitting with all of you. We'll watch Game 1 together. We'll have some fun. Everyone, have a good night. Have a good day tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow night. And, yeah, I'll talk to you next time.